This is a 400 litre, 380 litres I think it is. It's a boyu tank with a curved front. Well, the corners are moulded, but I see a lot of video or a lot of questions about the braces being broke and whatever on these tanks. So I bought this tank second hand, and we are repairing the brace. So firstly what we did was we cleaned the whole area and roughened it up with 200 grit sandpaper. And then we used this stuff, fast steel epoxy putty. We put a whole bed of it all around the broken piece. This piece here at the back was actually in 3 different pieces, and we just put some epoxy putty, the back of it, pressed the pieces into it, and then we moulded the whole thing round with epoxy putty. Now we do have a sash clamp squeezing this together so we get it that it's in its proper position, that there was no gap between the break here at the brace was together when we put the epoxy on. Now what we've done is we've drilled the epoxy, we put a stainless steel bolt with a big washer here at the back, and then we have another one drilled up through the bottom of the brace with a big washer, on it. Now we're going to tighten up them nuts. We're going to tighten them up, and then we're going to leave this one. We're going to leave this one here, that it's kind of sitting square when we tighten the nut. And then we're going to epoxy all around them bolts, so the bolts are embedded in the epoxy on the top and the bottom, so that they're all held together with the bolts encased in the epoxy with the big washers. And that brace will be stronger than it was when the aquarium was manufactured. And that's how we're doing this repair, guys. So we have our bolts in and trimmed off. They're 2 M5 stainless, M5 by 75 stainless bolts with a small washer, a big washer, and a lock nut, and the same on the other side. Now we have them tightened up, we have them trimmed off proud. The idea of trimming them off proud is that the epoxy is now going to go all over them there, and it's going to hold this piece to this piece, here. So that's going to be embedded in epoxy and chemical metal, and it'll never move. This side here will break before that side will break. Now we still have our clamp on. We'll be leaving our clamp on till tomorrow. We're now going to epoxy all this up. We're going to epoxy the head of that underneath as well, so that it's not leaching metals into the water from condensation and stuff. So that'll all be buried in the epoxy as well, top and bottom. Now when that's embedded in the epoxy, in the plastic steel or JB weld or whatever you guys in America call it, that's going to be pulling one way, and the other's going to be holding the other way, so it can't possibly move once that's all embedded in the epoxy. So we'll carry on now and we'll get that epoxied up. So that's our repair complete, guys, all encased in chemical metal, epoxy steel, JB weld, whatever you like to call it, and the same in underneath. We've bonded the bolts, the head of the bolt inside, to our inside with our epoxy putty, so it's not leaching any metals or rust or anything into our aquarium. Now that repair will be 10 times stronger. I know it's a bit unsightly looking, but sure, like when it's in underneath the lid, who's going to see it? And it's that ugly looking, and whatever, it's going to be 10 times stronger than what was there originally. I would expect this brace to break before that one breaks again. Now the tools you need, it's very simple. A drill, a 5mm drill bit, something to hold the nut and tighten the bolt, a little hacksaw to cut the trim off the bolts. As you've seen, we left them proud. A couple of tubes of fast steel epoxy putty. It comes in lots of brands, JB Weld, Quick Steel, Magic Steel, loads of different brands. It all does the same job. So that's it, guys. We're going to leave the clamp on till tomorrow, and then we're going to clean out the inside and reseal the inside.